Hey guys, it's Trekyards time. I'm Captain
I'm Connor
Foley.
Coggins, and are all of our questions answered?
No,
No, not really.
no. But today we're going to be talking about episode 10 of Discovery
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, The Red Angel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They do deliver that we do see the Red Angel, but it's a long old journey to get there.
It is indeed.
So I just finished watching it. I haven't seen anyone else's thoughts, but I want to hear what you think, Stuart.
As I kind of expected from the trailer, I was a little underwhelmed with this one. I feel it kind of fell flat compared to the last couple that we've seen. Just not structured very well. There was some great character moments for sure, some good character building, but I mean, a little bit of a twist at the end, considering what they say at the beginning. But I have an explanation for that. It's funny because like 2 days ago, I read the very same thing, that theory of who it actually was, and I'm like, that's interesting. I don't think we mentioned that one because we mentioned like everyone else in the Star Trek universe. It wasn't the best episode for me, but it also felt really short.
Well, very little happened. Obviously, we'll get into spoilers in a minute, but for basically 40 minutes of it, 45 minutes of the 48, I was thinking, boy, they've dropped the ball on this one. It's thoroughly disappointing. I'm kind of bored in the middle, and the fact they went for Burnham as the Angel, just bad, 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 because it's just they went there disappointing, and as soon as they revealed time suit being from the present again, you drop the ball. Discovery. You've made the season worse instantly, and I'm sorry that the suspension of disbelief is gone. I'm just not invested anymore in the same way. Luckily, the last 12 seconds made up for it. Luckily, at least gave it something back, because I can say I was right. It wasn't one of the characters we've always established. Phew, because I was thinking screenwriting 101, don't make it Michael, and it wasn't Michael. Thank goodness you did, which is why obviously they, in terms of pacing, it's horrendous. This is who it is within the first, 6 minutes. It's like, okay, now we know, and this long drawn out plan, which seems very easy, and then luckily again the twist is the only thing that keeps this episode together. I think apart from that, it's a disappointing episode through and through, which feels cheap as well. You can tell they're running out of money because it's so character in corridor, character in corridor, character in room with like 12 effect shots. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it felt like a cheap episode because they spent all the money. We know they did. This is just a fact. We know they spent most of the budget in the first few, and to make it up here. So those are my general thoughts.
What did you think of the very abrupt ending, where you expected a little bit more, but it was just like boom?
I was bored, and that at least made it interesting. I was at least, yay, there's something interesting to come. Because they'd lost me at that point. I didn't care. Like, I was expecting to see an old Burnham with white hair being like, Michael, no, why did you stop me on my mission? And my Michael'd be like, I don't care. So at least it was like, oh, okay.
The whole time I was thinking of all the problems with it, like during the episode as it unfolded, because I'm like, so if they're trying to trick future Michael, the present Michael is here and going to remember all this stuff, so it's not going to work. And this is just insanely stupid of a plan for them to even consider doing it.
And also, they said specifically grandfather products, if you kill Michael and Michael won't exist in the future. But if you kill Michael new, yeah, like you say, she'll already know what happened. It's a new timeline variant. And if you kill her, that's the end of the story. And then she'll never come back. But then also, she wouldn't know that her own life is in danger because either it did happen or it didn't happen. Unless she's some Michael, and then she also would know if they stopped her from dying in the present, because then she wouldn't die in the future. And so they have to actually kill her, which would make it the problem, to let her come back. So it was a flawed plan from the offset. And also says, well, why in season 1 did Red Angel not appear when she's got the torchbearer, or when she's on Kuvuma's ship, or all the multiple, or when she's flying through space, about to die from asphyxiation in the first episode. Once you create this sort of retcon thing of Michael's got a guardian angel her entire life, then you're saying so I guess she was never in enough danger to warrant it. So actually, it's just Discovery's dropping a ball here. We hope the reveal will be epic, and this one was a disappointing reveal for sure. Until the end, when it's a little bit interesting, but again, it's like, yeah.
I think the most interesting reveal in this episode for me was the fact that Hugh's kind of coming back around to being more normal again and actually wanting to engage with Stamets a little bit. That was like a better storyline for me than the whole Red Angel part. Yeah, you said early on that they announced that Michael was the Red Angel due to some information that Arium had downloaded or obtained. And it's kind of like this red herring Red Angel, red herring, right from the start. And then, of course, we see at the end when the thing comes off, it's like, that's not Burnham, guys. It's like, hey, mommy. It's like, oh, well, that's who that is. Okay, cool. It doesn't mean that Burnham can't be the Red Angel still. More people can wear that suit, and since it's a time-traveling suit, can go back to any time.
Yep.
So maybe the information that Ariam got was, in fact, Burnham, because she has to go use the suit at some point.
After her mum, yeah.
Yeah, and I think she might have been the one that went to Kaminar and saved the Kelpians, because the way she paused outside that window to look at Saru, it's like, hey, Saru, it's me, Burnham, hi, and then went and did her thing. Seems like more of a Burnham thing than a Michael, than her mom thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's still possibility that there's going to be more than one Red Angel. There might even be a few. It was just a weird red herring to drop early on, and I'm like, oh, well. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, that's going to piss a lot of people off.
I actually sighed out loud.
And then, I know, so did I.
Yeah.
So did I. And I said to Sylvia right away, that's going to piss a lot of people off. And she says, you say that a lot. And then it gets revealed that it's a Section 31 maid suit. And I went, ugh. Again, that's going to piss a lot of people off. It's just... It was a disappointing episode all around. It just didn't have a good pace. It just didn't...
It didn't. We said this season lives or dies in its reveal. And they botched part 1 of the reveal. Honestly. And they've still got a long way to go. 4 or 5 episodes. But... It was all live or die. And it's like, oh. Okay. And the fact that it's Section 31 suit, I think, is horrendous. But that means they can make new ones. Multiple Red Angels, multiple suits. They just need a time crystal.
Well, yes.
A time crystal.
The same thing that Harry Mudd had.
Yeah.
For magic make the saneth man go mad. Yeah.
Time crystal.
Well, he makes the point of saying that it's... The Vulcans knew about it, and they kind of tie that in this one. But how many are there of these time crystals, and why is that a thing?
It's that easy.
It's like, is this a video game?
Put in a space crystal and the thing turns on. And why would you design a suit? Did you design a suit around a time crystal? Or you just slot in? It's just awful. It's just dumb. Like, as soon as that happened, like, obviously they have to destroy the suit, and the suit will obviously have no... Well, if it's a time suit, therefore, it existed in all points. You'd have no idea what retcon ultra things it could do. But if it's that easily makeable and fully successful, then it's that easy. So I guess time travel isn't special in 29th century time cops. It's just really just... I also had a problem with the beginning. The fact they glossed over the importance of last episode. Oh yeah, this control thing, because they have this funeral. I'm thinking, but you were trapped in a building with a killer AI that already killed all of the admirals and all the crew, that has access to a full super secret station. Oh, I guess they just got off and shot it. So what?
Yeah, they destroyed the station in a line of dialogue.
So the tension that you meant. So when you watch it again, the tension you feel last episode is all lost, because it's like, well, the station's powerless. Who cares? It killed the agent. Who cares? Like, it's not. And they say, oh, I'm sure the AI got off the station, maybe. But like, it had to, otherwise it couldn't be the future AI. Like, the fact they just destroyed it and solved the problem like that is like, well, that should be the end of the future AI. But I guess not. It's like, they didn't care, again, about the past episode. Same with Kaminar. Same with Time Wave hitting Kaminar. They don't care about the storytelling of the season as a whole, even though you're meant to watch them binging back to back to back. We would think, because the funeral, again, we don't care about Ariam. Luckily, it was relatively short, but it's like, at that point, I was thinking, oh, so where was the funeral for... Because they've killed lots of characters throughout the show. But this one, that we know nothing about, really, gets a massive funeral. Did Hugh get a massive funeral? Why wasn't that a massive plot point at the end of season 1? This beautiful funeral for someone you care about. And the guy that died at the start of season 1 in the Shinjo, all the people at the battles, it's like, all the people have died, but this one robot we don't care about gets this massive funeral. It's like, that devalues every other death. The security officer from season 1, who was, the one from Battlestar Galactica, did she get a massive funeral? I mean, Lorca obviously didn't care as much, but it felt really out of context for this show. It didn't feel right. It should have started with just Torpedo firing. It's like, there she goes. To give the funeral for an undeserved character when they've had other deaths, like, Hugh should have got that too. And just, bugged me as soon as it started. What about you?
Well, it's funny because while I was watching the funeral, I thought, what about the other people that died? And I tried going through the list in my head. I didn't think of Hugh though, because I thought they were kind of, doing other stuff at the time. But yeah, you're right. It does devalue everything. I did like the massive funeral look though. I thought that was cool. Well shot.
That would have been great for Hugh.
To see it would have been
perfect for Hugh.
I think we even saw Hugh in the crowd there. He's like, I didn't get what? Why didn't I get this?
On screen though, on screen.
Yes. Yeah, and then the large center part lowers down after they push the torpedo or probe casing, whatever it is, in the middle of the thing, and then it magically goes into a little tube. Which, really, is this the same launch tube that they launched the ground assault or whatever landing things out of?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, cool, that's fine.
Well, they used what they had, even if it wasn't. At least it did shoot off like a streak, like Spock did. I'll give them that credit. They did visually one for one tie that in. But I guess you can use them as torpedo launchers too, even though there's nothing actually there. If you look at the ship, if you actually zoom in on any part of the ship, there's nothing there. There's no hole. There's no hatch. Especially not for big balls to come out.
Yeah, that's one of the parts that really bugged me right off the hop. It just felt really short. It felt very nothing. There's no substance to this episode, in my opinion.
Yep.
It felt hollow.
Yep.
The only good things were like Spock and Burnham making up. That was kind of a nice scene. Spock didn't expect to do that, but he accepted her apology. Took a lot of weight off her because she's going through some issues right now.
Yeah. And that's only really good because Spock's good. Like Spock enhances that scene. Other scenes with just Burnham and someone else is like, yeah. But Spock makes those scenes good, I think.
The other great scenes were with Stamets and Hugh. When Hugh goes down to see Stamets in the spore room, but realizes that everyone is there, including Giorgio. So he's like, well, I was looking for Admiral Cornwall. That's it. Maybe he was looking for her. I don't know, because he goes and seeks her out later. But weird scene. Weird scene with Giorgio, because Giorgio clues into what's going on and starts like hitting on Stamets, and it's like, okay. But it was a funny scene with the way it ended with Tilly. Like, what just happened?
It was kind of a forced scene. Like, we have these characters, we've got to give them more screen time, let's do something weird with it. But how out of character is Giorgio, like, compared to season 1? Like, how they completely retconned her character now.
She's all over the map, too. She's just crazy for the sake of crazy sometimes, and then perfectly fine. It's like, wow.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with her, and they're just doing anything. Like, they've completely lost the plot on that character, because they just...
Yep.
Because at the end, when she's like, save Burnham, I gotta say... It's like, I don't buy for a set... Like, the way she's acting is like, I really care. I'm like, I don't buy this. Like, I don't really buy it. Like, it's always an agenda. And the fact that they've got a time-traveling suit, like, that's the key to her power. Surely, isn't that her end game, is to get in this suit, which is right there? That surely is the end game of this character. There's nothing else to this. She would see power, she would see, well, I can go back in time. I'm sure you could use, go back in time... And literally, all you have to do as her is go back in time onto Discovery before it jumps into her universe. Doesn't even have to do anything evasive. Just be on the ship, it spores back, and now she's in her universe with a time suit. Boom, she's now able to undo everything and wins. But that should have been like a major subplot, you would think. But she's going to be a good character in her own show. Therefore, they can't do that. So that fell flat too.
Just continuing with the Hugh thing, he goes and seeks out Cornwall. She was a psychiatrist, so they sit down and talk. I love that discussion. The fact that she kind of makes him realize that the Stamets thing might have been a little bit premature to be just ending it. And then he goes to talk to Stamets at the beginning of their mission, and it's like, seriously, this isn't the time. Like, what are you doing? So I kind of like that storyline. Hugh is being more Hugh, which is good. Yeah. He's kind of getting back into the routine. So,
although Stamets, weirdly out of character, says it may never be the time. It's like you're begging him back.
He's pissed that Hugh said that to him in the first place.
Yeah, but it's so TV drama will make drama for the sake of it. If you've loved him for years, you wouldn't actively push him away, because then you might lose him by being a dick to him, who's coming back to you. And the problem with the Hugh stuff, well, I love the scene. It's a good scene. Cornwall is just a star. Like, she's written so perfectly in that scene. Is I can't relate to Hugh because I have no idea really how to understand what he's going through. And so for me to buy this journey he's in, I have no frame of reference. And so like I liked the fact that he was different and wasn't going after Stamets again, because that's at least relatable and that he's different and he's feeling different. But for him to go back is kind of like, oh, okay, is that just... Again, both characters feel very redundant this season and are going to end of this season because they've not... They only brought Hugh back because fans, you know? He hasn't really served a purpose. I don't think he's really going to serve a purpose. And that scene, again, so many scenes just felt like we're going to throw some character stuff in because we've got 27 minutes of cheap to do before the start, which is interesting. The end was interesting. But it's so... Like, the character stuff wasn't even...
They tried to make him relevant again by saying, you're coming on the away mission. If there's a problem with Burnham, you're going to be able to save her life, right?
Why isn't the doctor just the lead doctor? Cause...
the chief medical officer. I know. I thought the same thing.
Like, you pick either the guy that died, who's in massive problems emotionally, or the chief doctor who knows the crew better. Because she was there as well in season 1. Like, it's implied that she just took over from him. Like, you don't send the guy with emotional problems. You send your head of medicine. He wasn't even head of medicine at the time. He was just one of the medical staff. Why is he there?
So the other subplot, of course, is the whole Leland telling Michael about her parents and her parents working with the Section 31, developing the suit.
That was essential. Tell us that and there.
Yes. Well, absolutely, yeah. So that was an interesting conversation. He kind of diffused all of Giorgio's power in that regard by telling Michael himself, which was great. Got punched in the nose twice for it, which I thought was a little out of character for Michael. Seemed a little bit of an emotional outburst, but it's fine. It's fine. I can understand it. I guess I can. But yeah, and then the whole Leland thing wraps up with him getting stabbed in the eyeball by a needle, by Control. And is he? I don't think he's dead by any means. I think he's going to be up and fine next episode, and being under the influence of Control. So, being controlled, if you will.
Yeah, they use his voice 1 second later, which is a nice cut. Actually, it's a good instant cut. So I think the Leland stuff was pretty excellent in terms of a reveal. It's just we kind of glossed over the season 1 Burnham parent death so quickly and never dwelled on it. And then we sort of said it once in an earlier episode, and we were again like, well, I was like, this is random. Why bring it up specifically? It's not an important thing. They obviously they didn't know that was going to happen. Now it's a wonderful way of actually making that really relevant, and it makes her important in a galactic sense. That actually is a good tie altogether. Being the Red Angel, if she was a Red Angel again, that's actually a good tie-in. So yay for construction. But boy, they had to know this in season 1 and set this up and have her see flashbacks and hints. And, you know, it doesn't all had to mention it, or she have had nightmares this season. So it's just weird frame structure of the story to bring it back up and then have it be the most important thing ever. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, cool. But again, out of nowhere. Like them having their own suit of time travel. It's like a bit out of nowhere, especially when we had, you know, Pike and Leland and the Admiral talking earlier. It's like, we think it might be time travel. It's like, no shit. I mean, you had your own time suit that mostly worked 20 years ago, and the Klingons made it's just, you know, the season is starting to fall apart in terms of structure. You can kind of sense they probably altered the framing a little bit in part 2 when Kurtzman took over, because it doesn't now quite like season 1's better told. The part of first half part 1 is actually better told, even if it doesn't connect fully to this. Like, it needed more setups, which aren't there, and had more weird framing things that aren't being followed through. So it's kind of like it's now feeling slightly disjointed, for me anyway. Again, the final payoff might just be this episode, but it's like, it's not quite connecting.
I would agree. I think until this episode, things were kind of falling into place nice and neatly for season 2. But this one kind of took those puzzle pieces that we just assembled and went... And they're in the air right now. So we got to see how it plays out with the next few episodes to really get a feel for what's going on. But yeah, I'm of the same opinion that it's just kind of come to a point where either they're falling back on the original storyline that was originally created by the other producers, trying to make everything fall in line with that, or Kurtzman's taking like a total, 180 and started to change things, and it's just not falling into place correctly.
Yeah, I think it's more of a subtly rewriting it to allow him to do more after. Because if he's planning all these other seasons like that, you know, da-da-da-da-da. But
Yeah.
this is the problem with a long-form story. That 9 episodes of build-up. If the payoff's not damn good, then the setups are... Then you sort of enjoy the setups and then check out the payoff. You know, season 1 had the writing on the wall. I'm glad, obviously, that it wasn't Burnham. That, again, the writing would have been on the wall, because we've heard she's a Red Angel since the first time it appeared, because people said, oh, she's the lead, she's always the most important person in the room, it must be her. Not for any functional reason, just because she's the most important person in the universe. So let's talk about then the end. Although, I guess 1 second before the end, they do say it's Michael Burnham's... But why would the Red Angel... Like, it's... The framing structure of why the future people would, in their virus, think it, like, know who the suit is, and that's weird. They would even... It's like, it's a time suit. Why would they know who it was? Why would... If it's a time suit, you could just go in and out and then undo events, and, like, you don't tend to create... If you're time suiting, at what point do you get so complacent that these AI from the future know who you are, and then stay knowing who you are? Surely you'd keep changing things until things went your way. It's a time suit. You changed the timeline. But clearly she hasn't changed timeline much, because it still got to her point in the future. She's not done a very good job. Okay, so the time suit reveal at the end. She comes out of the suit, and it's her mum.
I was like, oh, wish I wouldn't have read that 2 days ago. Because I wouldn't have... I thought, well, maybe make an interesting video. Maybe we should do a video on it. I'm like, nah, I think that's fine. But yeah, so I mean, it was kind of spoiled a little bit for me. It was just somebody's speculation, I think. But still, the thought was there. So I was kind of like, what a twist, I guess. It's going to be interesting. And I went to commercial. And it's like, oh, it's not 9 o'clock yet. This is probably going to be one of those ones that runs 10 minutes longer. Okay. 3 minutes of commercials and then credits. And I'm like, oh, well, at least I can watch the Orville on time today. And then switched over to the Orville. So it's kind of a massive disappointment at the end, to be fair. It's interesting that it's her mother. Got some theories on that as well, but we'll get into those separately.
I mean, for me, it saved the episode, like, completely. If without that, it would have been just a disappointing, like, low score, bad episode. Not like bad, just nothing went well. So at least that was like, okay, it's not Michael, phew. You've linked it in well with the past, phew. You've created out of time, because, you know, she didn't die in her past, which means that she's doing... Remember I said very early on, when we actually got an argument, I think, at one point, about saying, it's Michael, it's not Michael, saying... I said, well, why doesn't she go back and save her own... Or is Amanda? She should go back and save her parents, if she really cares what Michael should save the parents.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And now we know why she didn't save her parents, because without the parents sort of death, she couldn't have been the Red Angel, so she couldn't change her own... So that's why Michael, that was always going to happen in a certain way. Obviously, save the daughter, that's different, but that focal point was always going to happen. So I like that. That's at least answered. But it certainly creates more interesting questions. And then, you know, what is the motivation for this character? If you've been a time suit that can explore time willy-nilly, which again is really easy, but it's certainly more interesting now. It is a twist. Michael's not the most important person in the room. And it explains why she's important to the Red Angel. Obviously, it's her daughter. But she's obviously a very ineffective time person, because she's not able to solve the problem. And why isn't she just time into the future and talk to relativity guys and be like, guys, look, I know I'm in a suit. You've got a full ship with time weapons and unaffected by the timeline. Can we just go, right, 200 years in the past and destroy the entire AI? Cool. A little bit. But at least it was an interesting double twist. Because Michael was wrong. And it was Michael. But it's sad that it took 48 minutes to get to the one interesting part of the episode. Like it's about the episode's called Red Angel, and I was expecting, okay, 5 minutes of the funeral, great. And they get to the planet, great. And then they bring it in, great. And then it's revealed, and we have a 10-15 minute conversation with whoever it is. It's not Michael, it's not Section 31 suit. And then it ends on an epic cliffhanger of like the creatures coming from time. It's like, oh no, we're under attack, and then something epic. But I'm just waiting through... Because the more character stuff in a row gets more and more dull, because nothing's actually happening. And they keep swapping from, look, there's warp at the window, to, look, there's bright light at the window. And it's like, what? Why is there bright light through warp? Stop doing that. Just be consistent. Basically, this episode was a classic Discovery episode with many weak points. More like season 1 than the rest of season 2, I think.
Good summary. Good summary.
Your final summary, then final score?
A final summary, like I said, some great character moments. Definitely advanced some of the characters' plot lines along and got some more characterization from them, which was well written as well. Got to see Spock becoming more Spock, becoming a little less emotional, I think. He's on his downwards trend from that.
Downward spiral.
Yes, downward spiral. I enjoyed a lot of this episode, small pieces of this episode, but as a whole, it didn't really work. And like I said, it felt empty. It felt hollow. It didn't feel like I watched anything. I felt like I watched maybe 10, 15 minutes of like actual story. And that's where it let me down. And I'd said for the last episode when I saw the trailer for it, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to enjoy it. And I really enjoyed it. And the ones before that were also really good. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, they got to keep this upward swing. This just went for me. It kind of crashed into a ravine. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for that. It's not the worst. There are some good moments in it. And the reveal at the end is kind of nice. It's a nice twist that nobody was really expecting. So bravo for that. But overall, not fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to go a 4 if it was Michael Burnham. Just solidly not good. But I'm going to say ups to a 5 because of the twist. Possibly a 5.5, so it's what average out 5.5. But it's just the weakest this season, I think. Again, I like the Klingon politics stuff. It was interesting, you know. But the ending saved it. Just like Talos, where the whole episode was a bit... And then, they're going to Talos. That saved it. Where the one after it didn't quite have that pull. So at least it had something. But isn't that sad, though? It's like they're using the promise of more each episode to make the episode better. The episode can't stand on its own. They've got to dangle it in front of you to then give you an epic thing at the end. And then not pay it off properly and then build up again for an epic get. Which is what now I think they did for the pre-Talos episode. Where they, it's like, it's another... So I think they don't know how to write... Like, they've got a goal, but they haven't got enough content to fill the 5 episodes. So they're having to stretch it out a bit. Because they haven't got enough plot.
It's like the DC movies. They want to have something epic, and they keep teasing you with it, but they never quite deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, okay.
There we go. Right, so tune in for our live tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. British, because we're still those time zone-y pesky things. We're going to talk out full scene by scene, and I'm sure we'll find more positives than scene by scene, because we'll look at the individual good moments and some art stuff.
Yes.
This is just a general thoughts, discussion, piece, review thing. So tune in then, super chat if you can, like, subscribe, share. Trekyards channel, we do these reviews every single week for you and for ourselves, because, it's our therapy for the week, Stuart, isn't it?
It is, yes. Better than me screaming at, trees in my backyard. So, guys, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Click notify. Join us on Patreon if you can. Help us out on a monthly basis. Or check out all the links down below. There's some really cool stuff, like some Trekyards merch. Check out some t-shirts. Go buy yourself some. And don't forget our Ego Moss links and things as well. We got lots of cool stuff down there to check out. We are not boring here, even though we are. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Coggins. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.